This video is as long as every jock's junk. And as we talk about jocks, today we will talk about Todd Duffy. Not many people know this guy, but every single win in his resume comes by way of knockout. That's impressive, isn't it? He was born in 1985 in Indiana, but spent his childhood in Illinois. Todd was happy to live in a large family. His father was a miner, and mother was a nurse. Todd was the best athlete in school doing baseball, basketball, and athletics. He was good at boxing also, but didn't pay so much attention to it. In high school, Todd had some success in American football, and coaches were seeing a bright future in front of him. But later, Duffy got injured and left that sport. He moved to Atlanta and continued to learn boxing, winning some championships for a youngster. Later, he found boxing boring and pretty static. One day, Duffy saw a UFC event on TV and understood that this is what he wants to do. But to compete with high-level fighters, he needed to learn wrestling. That's why Todd left university and fully commit to martial arts. He made his professional debut in February of 2007. Duffy knocked out Jonathan Spears in 15 seconds. To be honest, I am in fucking awe. The guy nicknamed as Rhino was knocked out 13 times in less than a minute. Leave a like if you want a 1-hour documentary about that fight on my channel. Now, let's get back to Todd Duffy. His next fight lasted 1 second more. It ended in 16 seconds. Mike Walbright has even more of a legendary record. Especially, I liked his nickname. But the previous opponent of Todd is still in my head. Just look at his fucking record. I've been doing fighter reviews for a long time, but this one is something special. Duffy fought again in August, and then went to face Josh Bennett. From the beginning, Todd put his opponents back against the fence and started to beat the shit out of him, as if Josh owed him some money. Bennett fell down in a minute, just like my channel's rating. In the next fight, the opposition level grew for Todd. He was facing Asuario Silva, who was a Pride and UFC veteran with a record of 15-6. A Superman punch is something I would like to see more often in the heavyweight division. Todd didn't disappoint and crashed his opponent's face into the canvas. Asuario survived till the second round with the help of God, but it was smashed within 1 minute going into the second round. A 5-knockout streak brought Duffy to the best promotion in the world. Unfortunately, it wasn't epic fighting, but UFC. His UFC debut happened at UFC 102. Todd's opponent was Tim Hague, with a record of 10 wins and 1 loss. The fight lasted even less than my last sex. It ended in 7 seconds after the first punch connected by Duffy. Hague had a huge downfall after this fight, losing 3 fights in UFC after that. He traveled between low-level promotions and even had a couple fights in Russia. All of them he lost. In 2017, he died after injuries he got in a boxing match. Tim Hague was only 34. At UFC 114 in May of 2010, Todd Duffy faced Mike Russo. In no more than 2 rounds, Mike was eating punches and wobbling in the octagon. But when Russo landed the perfect punch on Todd's chin in the 3rd round, everything changed. Todd fell down unconscious for the first time in his career. Later, it turned out that Todd was fighting with torn knee ligaments. In a Dynamite tournament, which was supposed to be an MMA and kickboxing crossover, Todd signed another first-round knockout in a fight with Alistair Overeem. But this time, he was the one to be knocked out. In April of 2012, Duffy entered the Super Fighting League, which has a super unusual name, and knocked out Neil Grove in 30 seconds. Later this year, Todd returned to UFC on his 155th tournament. Phil DeFries, who was his opponent, started to wobble like an old Soviet Union washing machine after he absorbed an uppercut. Before this fight, DeFries was on a 9-fight winning streak and lost only to Stipe Miocic. After this fight, it was diagnosed that Todd had a serious disease which made him quit MMA for 2 years. It was acute bronchial neuropathy. Its symptoms are nerve damages in the cervical spine and shoulders. I woke up at night with a sharp pain in my back. It felt like someone stabbed me from the back. I was scared and didn't know what to do. Call an ambulance or not? All I was able to do is to pull up my shoulder, but my hands were completely inactive. The pain was passing from shoulders to hands rapidly. I thought I pinched a nerve. It's one of those moments when your whole life passes in front of your eyes. When you get such a diagnosis, you start to look at life differently. A heart disease wasn't the first time when young Duffy's career was in threat. While his first absence in UFC, he had serious knee problems. He accepted an offer to participate in a Never Give Up 2 movie alongside Michael J. White and Lyoto Machida in order to pay for the operation. In December of 2014, Todd added another fast knockout in his resume against Anthony Hamilton on UFC 181. In July of 2015, Jiu-Jitsu master Frank Mir knocked Duffy out in the first round. An open exchange which started immediately ended on the second minute of the first round. Already stunned, Todd was caught by Frank's short left hook. After this fight, Duffy had serious injuries again and freezed his career for 4 years. First, it was a shoulder injury. Then, during a knee operation, doctors noticed that Todd also needs to be operated on his second knee, which happened in December of 2018. During the healing, he got staphylococcus infection. Duffy finally returned to the octagon after 4 years at UFC Fight Night 158. But the fight was ruled as no contest because of an eye poke. After that, Todd again disappeared for 4 years and got a new portion of injuries and COVID. On the 25th of December in 2023, he came back to face his past opponent DeFries, who he knocked out 10 years ago for the KSW title. But luck is a dirty slut which goes from one side to another. This time the Englishman was victorious. DeFries slipped under Duffy's high kick and took him down. The referee stopped the fight after Phillips started to smash Todd like puree. DeFries defended his title for the 9th time and became the most dominant champion in KSW. It was hard to watch Todd Duffy go out like that. Nearly 10 years ago, he was a prospective upcoming fighter with the appearance of Ivan Drago and the power of dynamite in his hands. But now he looks more like John Cena as a teenage girl. Anyway, we wish him luck and health. And to you, my dear audience, I wish the best of luck.